we're like, oh, wait, lots of new businesses are coming in. You think that's because we've been praying for that? So, and now it's just an absolute thriving little town, and, for lots of reasons. But we like to think it was because we were blessing our town and blessing all of those businesses. So, yeah. And I've gotten to where I try to, if I think of something that I'm like, oh, I hate that, then instead of just dwelling on, oh, I just hate that, praying a blessing in the place of that. Like, this is kind of a funny thing, but we have a newspaper in town, our little, daily rag, not weekly rag newspaper, and they had a letters to the editor part of the newspaper, and it was always some political thing, and there was always some Christian that would answer it in such a hateful way that it was an embarrassment, and you just read it and go, I hate that that's like the face of Christianity in our little town, is this hatred. And so I was like, I just hate that. And then I was like, in the paper, I think the editor of the paper actually enjoyed doing that. She wanted the Christians to look bad. And I liked the editor of the paper, but I knew she wasn't really in favor of Christianity much. But anyway, so I just started praying for her, and praying for her mostly. And the next thing I knew, she had decided to retire as the editor of the paper. And a Christian took over, and she took that column out of the paper. So, yeah. And then another thing too is like when you wish, like you're doing something, you're like, oh, I wish that was better. I wish, this. Just turn that into a blessing prayer. Like, I wish that ugly old building wasn't there. Well, bless that ugly old building to have something prosperous there, One day I was driving through Asheville, and I was stopped at the stoplight where the pawn shop was. And I was thinking, gosh, I just hate that people feel so desperate that they have to pawn something. I mean, you have to feel pretty desperate because you're losing money when you pawn something. I thought, gosh, those people have to be really desperate, and I hate that something like that exists that takes advantage of people. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bless those people. So I blessed the people that would feel so desperate that they would feel like they needed to pawn something at the pawn shop. And I blessed them to know that they could turn to the Lord for their provision, and that he would bless them. So, yeah, I just want to encourage you to do that kind of thing. And so one last story. Caleb and I were living in little tiny, like, it used to be a town, but now it's kind of a wide place in the road from one place to another. It's kind of a speed trap. And we were camping in that area. And so every time we would be on our way to church or something, I would just think, gosh, this looks like it used to be a sweet little town. I wonder what happened to it, and it's too bad, And then one morning I said to Caleb, you know what? Let's just bless this little town. And so I just said, Lord, I just bless this little town that businesses would come back here, and that people would find it attractive, and everything. And so we were there for 6 months, and about a month later, we started noticing some of the little buildings were being fixed up and cleaned up, and people were buying them. And again, I was like, wow, Lord, is that because I blessed? But anyways, I just want to encourage you guys to, to just sort of expand the way that you pray blessings, and just let the Lord lead you in ways to bless businesses, towns, whatever.